Good morning, or hello everybody. I know it's been a while since I made a video. I was only doing them for my project, and then when that was done, obviously life. But I am making a video today because today, April 30th, is my Tumorversary. Happy Tumorversary. Those people close to me know the story, but I wanted to just make a video to share my story. It's been a year. This time today, a year ago, I was on an operating table. So a quick backstory, on April 30th, 2013, I had a myomectomy, and what a myomectomy is a removal of fibroids from your uterus. It was very much a whirlwind experience, and I wanted to share my story because it's not really that, well, just to share my story, just in case it helps anybody else, but it's also really not as common with regards to fibroids and whatnot. So on April 16th, I remember this like it was yesterday, April 16th last year, I went in for my regular women's checkup. Was nothing new. I didn't have any symptoms. I was just going to get it done. I may forget my dental cleanings every 6 months or even my regular health checkups, but I always do make sure I make my women's checkups. So I went in for a regular checkup. I had scheduled the appointment. Obviously, months out, women, you know that when you schedule those appointments, you have to, like, seriously, months in advance, or you get pushed further back. So made the appointment. I don't know why I put it in the afternoon. I guess I was trying to get work done and do it, but it's always best to go first thing in the morning. But I did it in the afternoon, and I remember sitting there. I got there, and my doctor was gone because she had to go deliver a baby. My doctor's office is across the street from a hospital. So she was delivering a baby, but I just remember waiting for so long. I was getting really annoyed because nobody told me that until I'd been waiting for a while. I ended up seeing it with the nurse practitioner. I was like, that's fine. I don't want to reschedule. I'm already here. And I remember going through the basic process. And when she was done doing all the uncomfortable stuff, she was going to do the pelvic exam externally. And I remember she put her hands on my stomach. And she put it there. And all she said was, oh my God, what is that? Words you never, what is that? 6 words you never want to hear from a healthcare professional that is examining you. Oh my God, what is that? And it's like, what do you mean, oh my God, what is that? She tells me to get dressed, she leaves. And my, as I'm getting dressed, my doctor had made it back, my OBGYN, Dr. Oliver, who's absolutely wonderful. She had made it back, and she poked her head in. She was like, do you mind just undressing from the waist down? And I want to examine you myself. So I do that, get back on the table. She touches my stomach, feels the same thing, tells me to sit tight, leaves, comes back with this big ultrasound machine. And she tells me, you know, this is not going to be very exact, but it'll tell me what I need to know. So, does the ultrasound, and she says, yeah, that's not what I was hoping to see. More words you don't want to hear. And she turns the screen to me, and I don't know what I'm looking at, right? So I'm just looking at this screen, and I'm like, I don't know how to get it. And she says, you know, I was hoping it would be clear, because I'm looking at it, it's just black. It's just black. And when she starts to define it, and she says, you see this? This is, I was hoping this was clear, but it's not. Which means it's mass. And it was like a round thing, black thing just there. And you know, it's a shock. You're like, what the hell are you talking about? And she put my hand on my stomach and was feeling it. So, okay, seriously. I wasn't feeling any noticeable symptoms. I didn't think anything was wrong with me. You know, I'd been working out, and, you know, my stomach, I was having some trouble with my stomach area, but, you know, that little pooch we have down there, you know, ladies, and you just, that's a trouble area. So I'm like, all right, I got to do, you know, eat better and more cardio and exercise and all that kind of stuff. Because it wasn't going down, but it wasn't, to me, something that red flagged me. And when I did push on it, you know, it was a little hard. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm getting some abs that are coming in. Yeah, no. So when she actually put my hands on it and felt around, it was very defined that there was something there. And it was the equivalent of me being 5 months pregnant. I've never been pregnant before. So there was no red flags to me as far as what something was supposed to feel like or look like. So in that instance, it was all of a sudden an immediate life-changing experience, you know? I mean, what does this mean? I don't even know. At the time, she didn't diagnose it as fibroids because a year ago, or instead of going on my appointments, a year ago, she examined me. What the hell is that? And there was nothing there. There was nothing there. So in less than 12 months, I've managed to grow this little tiny basketball, how she described it, which, fibroids do grow that big, some even bigger. I've interacted with women who've had way bigger ones than I've had, but it takes years for that to happen. So for this to kind of appear in less than a year, there was lots of concern and almost just kind of confusion as to what it was. So then it just became business mode, right? She sent me to get tests the next day, and she wanted to get in there and get it out like Friday. This was Tuesday. She wanted to go in Friday. And that's a lot of information to take in from going from nothing to all of a sudden I have to think about these things, because here's what the options are, right? So it's definitely a mass. If it's benign, that's great news, right? We don't know if it's benign. I'm looking if it's benign, awesome news. But if it's benign, they remove it. If it's attached to my uterus or attached too much and there's not enough uterus left to give me something, then that's got to go. They would take it out. If it's malignant, then everything's got to come out. I did end up going to get a second opinion at an oncologist the following Tuesday, so a week later, and she came to the same conclusion as well. So pretty much they were on the phone negotiating while I'm sitting there in my oncologist's office about the best day to do surgery or when their schedule's available, which was the following Tuesday. So literally Tuesday to Tuesday to Tuesday, from diagnosis to surgery. And it was that they had to go in there. They couldn't see my uterus at all, so I'm pretty much laying there, for surgery, having to be okay with the fact, because the question was, can I get tested earlier? Can you just test it before you cut into me so I know? And it was pretty much, we can stick you with this giant needle and we can test it, but it's not going to change the fact that we have to get in there. That's another day. We're going to have to wait another time. So we might as well get in there, test it, and then do what we need to do. So I had to pretty much go into this being okay with the fact that I could wake up and not have my lady parts. And that's tough, especially if you are somebody who wants to have a family and wants to have children. And to have to go in not knowing was really scary. But it had to be done, nobody could give me answers. It was something that they hadn't seen before, at least they hadn't. And, it was time sensitive there. So, you sign the paper, read it very carefully, always read your paperwork, always, and sign off on it and just put it in God's hands. And I've got lots of loving support from everybody about it. And I remember after the surgery, I remember waking up in the ICU. And when you're in the hospital, and I'm assuming this is for most healthcare professionals, it's only your doctor can give you information. You ever ask the nurses in the hospital, they're like, okay, I have to have a doctor tell you that, even if they know. But I remember waking up in the ICU and just kind of being like groggy and coming to, and the nurse leaned over to me and she said, your doctor said it was okay for me to tell you that everything went well and that you still have your uterus. And in my mind, I was like, woo, but it drugged up and it was really not much external reaction going on. But that was the best news and best possible outcome to have, and to have a renewed appreciation for life and for just taking care of yourself and being aware, because one of the first things I asked my doctor when all this was happening was like, what could I have done? What could I have done to have prevented any of this from happening? And it was just one of those cases where there was nothing to do, unless she said I was a hypochondriac. and you just came in and get checked all the time, you know, you did what you were supposed to do when you came in. So I had, so, you know, the remnants of that is I have a little C-section scar, maybe about that big. I did go in for my 1-year follow-up last Tuesday, and everything was fine and great. So I'm very, very grateful for that. That was obviously another concern. You know, fibroids do have a tendency to come back. And, you know, I'm like, what does this mean? Am I going to grow one every year? Is just this, or what do I have to do? How can I prevent this? And, you know, other than checkups and taking care of your health and wellness and doing some research and, you know, trying to be on top of your health, are pretty much the only things you can kind of do. Because if they're going to grow and come back, they're going to come back. And the likelihood now is higher. Just because I have had one big one. So I'm very blessed and I'm very grateful. And some tips for ladies of the things that helped me in general. Stay on top of here's some little advice, right? Stay on top of your health checkups, especially your women's checkups as your OBGYN. I know we hate it. It's uncomfortable, but stay on top of it. Do it. Go. It could save your life. You know, it saved mine. If I had to reschedule that appointment, I don't know what would have happened. Because again, I had no freaking clue that was happening. If you do have fibroids or you have them, the biggest, hugest help for me was a support system. And I don't mean that as like your family or someone, but a system or a support system of people who are experiencing the same things you have, or have gone through it. I reached out immediately to Claire Bear, who I knew because she was sharing her story that she was going through something that I thought was similar, and she immediately put me into the, you know, shared her opinions. You know, she's one of the biggest reasons why I got a second opinion, at least pushed for a little bit more time to do so, and put me into a group. There is a Facebook group, a fibroid Facebook group, ironically enough, but even though my situation was hard to relate to because it was so quick, to be able to talk to women who were experiencing the same things, maybe not symptom-wise, but had gone through the surgery or done these things, was a huge sense of relief. You know, I think as human beings, we innately, from a cellular level, want connection and people to, you know, not too much just with people, but people that can genuinely empathize with you. And that was a huge comfort to speak with these women and interact with them. And on the flip side, just be appreciative that, you know, I didn't have to experience them. But some of these women have been dealing with these for years and are in pain all the time. And I didn't experience any of that. But they were able to give me insight on some of the things that they do to take care of this. And especially post-op. Like, there's just advice that some people just don't tell you, that, or the doctors tell you, but they don't keep it like all the way real. And to be able to tell someone some of the uncomfortable and gross stuff you experience was very helpful. So definitely, if you're experiencing those, find a support system and do your research. I mean, you know, fibroids aren't by any means new to the medical field, but it hasn't been until maybe the last 10 plus years where the science in that area is finally starting to progress, and they're doing more and more research of alternative options, less invasive options. But do your research, look into it. If you have the time to do so, do it. And, you know, take care of your health and do what you can. I mean, it's your body, it's your life, and, you know, you only get one. And also, it's also been a great eye-opener for me to, you know, push my doctors if I'm not getting the diagnosis that I feel, if something's wrong and I'm not getting, in all aspects of not just my women's health, because I can say that the February before I got my diagnosis, I had gone to the doctor office because I felt I had a sinus infection, and I was complaining of stomach pains. And my doctor then just brushed it off as discharge from, you know, running through my nasal passages in my stomach. And I guarantee you that if my doctor had, at the time, had taken the time to examine me and touch on my stomach, that could have been a month and a half earlier of what was happening. So best believe now, when I go in for anything, a sore finger, an earache, I'm asking them to touch my stomach. I'm just like, can you just check for me? I know it sounds stupid, but I've been through this. Can you just double check? So take charge of your health, and don't be afraid to ask the questions and push the second opinion, and you know, you'll be better off for it, even if they think you're a little crazy. So I am celebrating today. I even kind of got like dressed up for work today a little bit because I really don't have to wear this all the time, or at least dress up all the time. But celebrating the Tumorversary, no more Tumor Baby. I say those not to joke, you know, not to be rude or mean to anybody, but to make light of it. You know, it's a celebration of life, and I'm here. I have all my lady parts, so I'm appreciative for that. And thank you. I really, 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 really genuinely thank everybody who during that time really supported me and reached out to me, showered me with love and cards, and I'm still here and trying to make it, not trying, I am making the best of it and taking care of myself, and hopefully not having to experience this again. If you have, you know, if anybody watching this has any questions about them and that I can help with, please feel free to ask me. For those of you who are curious and like that kind of stuff, I will post a link to the picture of the Tumor Baby in the description below. So click at your own risk if you would like to see what that looked like. I know this was a long video. Thank you for watching. I am going to be late for work, but I love you guys, and have a wonderful Hump Day Wednesday. Have a, you know, if you're out, have a drink for me and have a shot for me. Tumorversary celebration going down. I'm going to go out with some friends tonight to just celebrate. Why not? All right, have a great day. Bye.